Happy Wednesday, veterans, and thank you for spending some time with us today. Before we get started with today's topic, please sound off in the comments and let us know where you are tuning in from. Also, what branch you served in and what years.
Yes, welcome. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Happy to see you here, Coach Al.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure, Coach Rochelle.
We got anyone tuning in? Where are you tuning in from today, Coach Al?
So I'm in beautiful Denver, Colorado, where it's 35 degrees and sunny. It's always a pleasure to be in Colorado. I love it here. I was born and raised in Colorado, so this is where I stay. What about you,
Awesome.
Coach?
I'm currently in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Husband is here at Army War College, so we're here. We'll be here 10 months before the next assignment. I see some others not too far away. I see Fairfax, Virginia. Nice to see you, Tim. Got Rico in California.
U.S. Air Force. Thank you for being here. Got sunny Middle Georgia. I was stationed out in Savannah, Georgia. So thank you for being here. U.S. Marine Corps. I see you, Leon.
I see one of my veterans, Miss Noreen. Happy to see you here today. Awesome. Yep. I see a lot
Texas.
of vets tuning in. Connecticut, Charlotte, Round Rock. Oh, I see someone in Jacksonville, Florida, Mr. Trent Berry. It's actually where my dad ended up retiring. So I went to high school out in Jacksonville.
We got a Vietnam vet here. Thank you for being here today, Carrie. Appreciate that. U.S. Navy.
Good morning, Coach Ash. I see some coaches joining in. Oh, one of my other veterans from Florida, Chucky.
U.S. Marine Corps. We got the Marines in here today. I see them coming through.
Awesome.
All right. So just to kind of start, I want to introduce myself. I'm Coach Al, and I work here at VA Claims Insider. We have a very exciting topic for you today where we will be going over SMCs, special monthly compensation, what they are, how they work, and the easiest SMCs to get. So a little bit about me. I'm a U.S. Army vet. I served in special operations with the 75th Ranger Regiment, where I was stationed out in beautiful Savannah, Georgia, at Hunter Army Airfield. During my service, I had 3 combat deployments, 2 to Afghanistan and 1 to Iraq. I initially began my VA disability journey, just like many of you. I was stuck, frustrated, and underrated, and that's when I found VA Claims Insider. And with the help of my coach, Eddie Chaveria, he helped guide me to 100% P&T. I'm extremely thankful for this company, and I'm thrilled to be a part of VA Claims Insider. I enjoy coaching my fellow brothers and sisters to obtain the VA disability benefits that they rightfully deserve. It does not matter how long you've been out of the service, you can still obtain VA disability benefits for your disabilities that were caused by or aggravated by your service or another service-connected disability. So, Coach Rochelle, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. But first, let me start off by saying thank you for your service, right? And congrats on the 100% P&T. Let's definitely celebrate life change. Congratulations, you deserve it. I am Coach Rochelle Seabury, and I am happy to join you here today, Coach Al. Just a little bit about me. I am not a veteran, but I did grow up a Navy brat. My father served 20 years before retiring our family to Florida, where I actually met my husband, who is still currently serving as a lieutenant colonel in the Army. In the role I've played as a child and now as a spouse, I saw the support that military families have for one another, right? That's why this job has been so rewarding for me. Since I've joined the company over 2 years ago, I found such an amazing family in VACI, from the coaches to the veterans, and of course, my veteran spouses and families. Everyone is such an important part of the process. We celebrate life change with each other, and it never gets old, right?
Absolutely. So do you mind just giving our quick disclaimer
Oh, yeah. No, before we get started, just a quick disclaimer, everyone. We are not accredited agents, VSOs, attorneys, or any other entity recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs, and we are not affiliated with the VA in any way. VA Claims Insider is an education based coaching consulting company for disabled veterans exploring eligibility for increased VA disability benefits and who wish to learn more about that process. VA Claims Insider also connects veterans with vetted independent medical professionals in our referral network for medical examinations and independent medical opinions for a wide range of disability conditions. Great. So let's start off by welcome anyone joining us for the first time, looking to get some good information. Definitely follow and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our weekly VACI lives.
Thank you, Coach Seabury. Thank you for that information. So, for those joining us and looking to learn more about VA Claims Insider's elite program, VA Claims Insider uses the SEM method, which stands for Strategy, Education, and Medical Evidence, to coach you to get the disability rating that you legally, ethically, and morally deserve. So, with the one on one coaching, you and your assigned coach work together to develop a strategy and to put together a winning claim and coach you through submission and prep you for the CMP exam. We are with you every step of the way. And along with your coach, there are many opportunities for you to engage with the VACI community that we've built from our live classes. Zoom, we have 5 days a week, coffee with the coaches, mental health eval, and medical exam prep classes as well. So if you guys want to learn more, please schedule a free discovery call and talk to one of our team members by going to vaclaims.help. Also, if you need assistance with your VA claims, reach out to our organization at vaclaimsinsider.com. We'd love to partner with you on your VA claims journey and help you in any way that we possibly can.
Yeah, I think with that, you have nothing to lose, right? If you're stuck, frustrated, and you feel underrated, sign up for that discovery call and see where and how or if it works for you. If you're ready, Coach Al, we can get into the topic today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Coach Seabury, what is special monthly compensation?
So, VA Special Monthly Compensation, SMCs, let's refer to it SMC moving forward, is additional monthly compensation given to veterans with combinations of disabilities or special needs that result in a higher level of overall disability. So, basically, the VA acknowledges that veterans with certain disabilities or combination of disabilities are more debilitating than accounted for by the VA schedule of rating disability, so the regular scheduled ratings. SMC pay rates in 2023 go up to more than $11,000 a month.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So there's definitely some opportunities there on the table for those that qualify and meet the needs based off of their conditions. So, Coach Al, can you kind of explain how does one qualify for special monthly compensation? What are the breakdowns?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's many ways that you can qualify for special monthly compensation. It's important to note that special monthly compensation rates are awarded in lieu of standard VA disability compensation rates. That's except for SMCK. SMCK is the only one that can be in addition to your regular VA disability compensation pay. So in 2023, the current monthly award for SMCK is $128.62. The VA assigns special monthly compensation levels based on very specific situations and or combinations of situations. There's a lot to go over here, so I will just name a few. The loss or use of a creative organ. All right, so that's ED for males and female sexual arousal disorder for females. The amputation of one or more limbs or extremities. The loss of use of one or more limbs or extremities, meaning you have no effective function remaining. The physical loss of one or both eyes. The loss of sight or total blindness in one or both eyes. Being permanently bedridden. So now you're unable to get out of your own bed, needing daily help with basic needs like eating, dressing, bathing. All right, this is also called aid in attendance. And there's another one, statutory housebound. So this is basically you are unable to leave your home or your permanent residence. So, Coach Seabury, can you kind of fill us in? How does a veteran go about? How can I go about applying for special monthly compensation from the VA?
So technically, you can apply for special monthly compensation, but typically, the VA actually automatically awards special monthly compensation to qualifying veterans. Thus, you don't have to apply for it in most cases. However, do keep in mind that aid and attendance benefits do have to be applied for by the veteran. So the VA is supposed to consider SMC when deciding any claim for disability compensation. So when you apply for a condition, or claim condition for VA rating, you're talking with the VA in regards to the severity and impact of your condition. And so when you're expressing the debilitating effects of that condition, this is where the VA is supposed to consider whether it awards you that SMC, right? So if the VA doesn't award the SMC with your VA claim, you can always open a new claim on the va.gov website and create a new disability for, in quotes, request for special monthly compensation so that it's specific what you're applying for. All right. With that being said, Coach Al, what are the current monthly compensation rates, monthly compensation rates?
Absolutely. So, current special monthly compensation rates depend on the SMC category,
Okay.
and it also depends on your number of dependents you have. So, for example, level K may apply if you lost the use of an extremity or an organ, such as the loss of use of a foot or erectile dysfunction, female sexual dysfunction. You may receive 1 to 3 SMCK awards in addition to your basic VA disability compensation and SMC rates. So that's an important thing to point out is that you can have up to 3 SMCK awards in addition to your basic VA disability compensation. So that's huge. Are
Gotcha.
you
Yeah. So
talking about
SMC,
levels L through O?
yeah, level K, definitely some common circumstances there, but through levels L through O, they are very specific to your disabilities and your unique situations. So they are extremely detailed, and often specific to the disability and the severity of that disability, kind of what we were talking about earlier. When you file a compensation for a condition, you not only are worried about, is this condition going to get service connected, but you want to be properly rated. The second aspect of that is the level L through O for that special monthly compensation benefit. So for these disabilities, it's best to refer to the VA's list and understand your disability and whether or not it meets the requirements specific through L through O. Only one special monthly compensation rating, though, can be given for categories L through O. Now, category L is the lowest special monthly compensation, and category O is the highest. So even if your condition doesn't qualify your category for categories under L through O, you might still qualify under K. So that brings me back to what you were just sharing about category K. Category K also gives additional money for conditions that qualify under L through O. So make sure you check that out.
So let's talk a little bit about level R. So you may apply for level R if you need assistance with activities of daily living, like bathing, dressing, eating, and using the restroom. Those are just some examples. Another person does not need to be with you at all times for you to qualify, but you do have to be unable to perform the majority of those daily living activities without help every day. And that's in order for another person not to be with you at all times. So,
Mhm.
Coach Seabear, can you go over level S for us?
Yes, of course. All right. So level S may apply if your service connected disabilities keep you from leaving your home. And this is expected to be the case for the rest of your life. Okay. That's when you would qualify for level S. Or if the veteran has another condition rated at least 60%, or a group of conditions together at least 60% that are unrelated to the 100% condition. To be unrelated, the 60% condition or conditions must affect different body systems or body parts than that 100% condition. Right? So, for example, right, they can't both affect the arm or both affect the digestive system, but one can affect the arm and the other affect the digestive system. Hope that made sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's super important to point out, that they can't be the same body part. So just keep that in mind. And level T. So this level may apply if you suffered a traumatic brain injury. So, for example, you require daily aid and attendance. You need constant institutional care without in-home aid and attendance. So level T is very specific. Also, there are some additional points to consider. So for SMCK, all additional children under 18, you receive $100.34 each. So I apologize, that was except for SMCK.
Yes.
All additional children under 18, you receive $100.34 each. So except for SMCK, all additional dependent children 18 to 23, you would receive $324.12 each. Aid in attendance for a spouse is $185.21. I just want to make sure that's clear. Except for SMCK, all
Gotcha.
the other SMCs, you would receive additional compensation.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that, because that's in addition to being awarded the SMC, you're talking about the additional compensation for individual independence, whether they're under 18, between 18 and 23, or whether they're aid in attendance for a spouse who's assisting, right, for the condition. So awesome. Great. Thanks for sharing that. Now, can you kind of share with us? I know we kind of ran through briefly because, of course, everything is very specific to a veteran's specific circumstances and condition. What are the easiest SMCs to get? I mean, I know SMCs are not easy or hard to obtain, right? They're specific to whether you meet the criteria or not. But what are the most common SMCs?
So some of the most common SMCs are erectile dysfunction for males, female sexual arousal disorder for females, and those fall under SMCK. SMCK, if you're rated at 100% for a specific disability and you have another disability rated at 60% or higher, you also qualify for SMCK. So all of the current 2023 VA special monthly compensation rates can be found on va.gov under 2023 VA special monthly compensation rates. So if you're interested and would like some more information, you can go to va.gov and look up 2023 VA special monthly compensation rates. Or if you're an elite member, there's a really great infographic with a breakdown of different levels and SMC in the resources on the Insider portal. So just go to your resources page and type in special monthly compensation, and you'll see a clear breakdown of the different levels of what we just covered. And there's also some really great pictures that can help you understand those SMCs better and how you may qualify. So, Coach Seabury, how do you know if your conditions qualify for SMC?
Yeah, so there's no simple answer for this question. I even saw Michelle Reed in the chat that asked, is there any special compensation for veterans with less severities other than what you all described? So let's be clear, right? You can find out if your disabilities qualify for SMCs by comparing your conditions and the circumstances to the requirements for each level of SMC on the on va.gov. The way Coach Al just mentioned, if you just type in 2023 VA special monthly compensation rates, there was just no way on this Facebook Live that we'd be able to touch on every single one of them. So I'm going to direct you to straight to va.gov for that, as they have the most current and accurate information. If you are an elite member, there is a resource that we have called Military Disability Made Easy. On there, they have a special monthly compensation page. So if you are an elite member and you don't already have access to MDME, get with your coach. MDME is a partner company of VACI, and as an elite member, you get the first year free. All right. So your coach will be able to provide you with that coupon code. Even as a coach, I use MDME. It's like the simplified version of the VA's 38 CFR. So you can understand what the regulations and the laws are, especially when the VA is constantly changing things, right? You want the most up-to-date and current and accurate information. So such a good educational resource.
Absolutely. And just real quick, I just wanted
Mhm.
to say if you guys are interested and would like some additional information, just sign up for one of our free 30-minute discovery calls where you can talk to one of our BDRs and get the information about your claim and hopefully get with a coach that we can help you move forward in your claim process, get you some actionable steps moving forward.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So, a good question here, Coach Al. I'm going to put it on you here. Are special monthly compensation rates paid in addition to or instead of your regular VA disability payments? Or what if I qualify for multiple SMC categories? Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So most SMC rates actually replace the regular VA disability monthly payments. So if you qualify for an SMC, then you will only receive that SMC instead of your VA disability compensation. If you qualify for multiple categories, then the VA will pay you at that category with the highest special monthly compensation rates. You cannot receive multiple categories. The exception to that rule is SMCK, which can be given in addition to other categories. Like we talked about earlier, SMCK, you can have up to 3 SMCK awards. The amount for SMCK is added to the monthly amount for your other categories of SMC. But it's very important to understand how all of those categories work together. MDME, like Coach Seabury just pointed out, is a great resource for that. Also, va.gov.
Yes, you're right. And I know we've got some questions in the chat, and I'm sorry if we don't address every single question being asked. Just a lot of these are very specific to what your condition, what you're dealing with. So without you being able to engage with a coach and speaking to your specific situation and what you're dealing with, we wouldn't be able to really be address your specific situation and what you qualify for, right? But what we're clarifying here, just to kind of run through a quick summary, a condition can only be categorized under one of the categories between L and O. If a condition qualifies under category S, then it is categorized just under S and not under categories L through O. Category K can be given in addition to any, can be given in addition to any category except category R, unless the condition that qualifies for category K is not used to qualify for category R. Now, you can't use the same condition to qualify for both category K and category R. So that's where we were talking about separate conditions and separate body disabilities. Category R is unique. It completely replaces any other rating for any condition. If you qualify for category R, then you will only receive compensation for that category. You won't receive any other disability pay from the VA, including the normal VASRD disability rating pay. So that was a question that I saw earlier about someone who was like, what if I'm 100%, right? It depends, right? Because in here, it's saying if you qualify for the category R, it is unique and you won't receive any other disability pay from the VA. The only thing you can receive in addition to category R is category K. So that was the unique one that Coach Al covered earlier regarding an entirely separate condition. Okay. So I guess another really pressing question that I would ask in this situation is, can the VA take away special monthly compensations?
So the answer to that question is yes, right? However, it is extremely rare for the VA to award you special monthly compensation and later take it away, but it can happen. So that's important to know. It's important to point out. So if your conditions improve to the point that you no longer qualify for that SMC, then the VA will only compensate you at the level for which you qualify. So they can take that away.
Wow.
So um, let's go ahead and jump into answering some of these questions that I see.
We've got some people in the chat saying they've never heard of SMCs, and it's good to know. It's honestly because, like, even with some of our veterans in here talking about, erectile dysfunction, right? That you covered, you're service connected for that condition, but you're compensated with a rating max is at 0%. But if you look at your rating decision code, you'll see that you are actually being compensated with SMC for the condition an additional, I believe it was like 118 a month, Coach Al, something along the lines of that, for that specific condition. So that's kind of what it's talking about. It's specific to if you're service connected for that condition, then it determines whether you qualify for that SMC.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Coach Seabury. Always appreciate it. So looks like we have a few questions here. What if it gets worse? Sabrina asked that question. So if your SMC disability gets worse, it really depends on what SMC you're currently receiving compensation for, because these are very specific, right? SMCK, that can be female sexual arousal disorder, right? If that gets worse, I don't believe the VA would pay you additional compensation for that. It would just be the standard compensation rate at SMCK.
Yeah, I think the breakdown with the levels, depending on the categories and level that you qualify for, it's specific to the debilitating factor, right? The severity of the condition. So as Brian Reese says, get your butt to the doctor, right? Because as long as you're being treated and your symptoms are being documented, then like we said earlier, if they don't automatically give you SMC for the condition, you can still apply for SMC for the condition, as long as it meets the criteria based off of how your condition impacts you.
Absolutely. And Sabrina asked, what is SMC? So just to put that out there, SMC is special monthly compensation. All right. So Robert Gaines, is this like aid in attendance? So aid in attendance is actually a special monthly compensation. So that is one of the special monthly compensations there.
Exactly. Awesome. So Mark Nichols says, I got special K in 2018 for loss of use of limb when I was being rated for a different issue, secondary, but in 1990, I was medically retired for a loss of use of limb. Can I put in a claim for special K, special SMCK back pay? It's a good question. Not quite sure as far as a direct answer on that one, but if we don't answer your questions because we don't want to pass along incorrect information, we will come back into the chat and make sure that we get you an answer. Okay.
So Barry Ruchan, what if I'm 100% and fighting for a disability for the last 30 or 40 years since 1988, but not rated for it? So Barry, my best recommendation would be to sign up for a free 30-minute discovery call, speak with one of our BDRs, and then sign up and get with a coach so that we can get you some actionable steps moving forward and help you make progress in your VA claims disability.
Yes. I saw a question here. Andy Lopez from Austin, Texas. He's working with Coach Sandra. So great. You're in the elite program. Does the VA automatically add SMC with the increased PTSD claims stating ED has worsened my mental health condition, or do you file separately? So I'm going to try to break down that question a bit just to clarify. So if you're claiming PTSD as a secondary condition to your ED, right? Yes, that is a potential claim that you and Coach Sandra can put together. But in regards to SMC, SMC is special monthly compensation depending on the impact of your PTSD, right? So depending on the limitations and the debilitating factors of your PTSD, ED, you're receiving SMC for, right? Because you're rated at 0, but receiving that special monthly compensation while service connected for ED. I hope that clarified.
Yeah. So George Gonzalez, he has a question here. I'm 100% P&T. My swallowing problems were denied. Can I still appeal to higher resolution appeal? So I think he meant higher level review. But George, so you are currently 100% P&T, brother. Basically, if you file new claims, your old claims that you are already service connected for can potentially be reopened, right? You're not going to receive over 100% P&T other than the SMC categories. So just keep that in mind.
Yes. All right, these are some great questions and comments. Even I'm getting a lot of in the chat, just some motivating, a lot of 100% P&T people just looking at, are they missing out on additional compensation, which that's what SMCs are, right? Special monthly compensation. So definitely dive into your specific conditions and the categories that they would fall under. Anything else? Do you see anything else?
Yeah, so Patrick, how do you find out if the VA is actually missing information or they're just being jerks and denying your claim? Only thing the denial letter says is your IMO diagnosed your condition, something other than service connected, which is a flat out lie. How do I find out what info they are using? So Patrick, what you can do is you can do a FOIA request, and what that gets you is your entire C file, your claims file, which is going to be very important. That's going to have your C&P notes in there. That's going to have your military service treatment records. It's going to have your VA records. But that's very helpful information to have when you're trying to get your claim service connected. Also, if you don't already have a coach and you're not in the elite program, sign up and we can assist you in going about getting the strategy, education, and medical evidence that you need in order to support your claim.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, because I saw he even followed up. How do you find out what info they are using, right? So a part of the SCM method that Coach Al kind of broke down, right, is strategy, education, and then medical evidence. What you're going to determine with a coach when going for any claim, whether it's for schedular rating or whether it's for SMC, should that be, what you qualify for, is really determining gaps in your medical evidence, any gaps or what you need in order to win a claim, a solid, fully developed claim. So once you've gotten with a coach, looked over what you do have, determine if you need any additional or whether you need to get back to the doctor because maybe your symptoms aren't current, right? Your medical notes aren't current to what you're currently dealing with. Maybe an incident happened or an ER visit happened and you haven't updated your doctor on all of these situations. Those are important parts of the process. And then that way, when you submit, you're submitting all of the relevant evidence that you know will support your claim. Right.
So I see another question here. It's J.E. Figuera Siri. I need to clarify one thing about PTSD. Does it need to be connected to combat situations, or can it relate to just stressful situations during your service time? So, J.E., so I'm a combat vet and I have combat PTSD, but that's not the only type of PTSD. There's also non-combat PTSD, which can come from an MST situation or a stressful situation or incident that you experienced while back home in the States, right, at your base. So there are other types of PTSD other than just combat PTSD. All right. And I also just want to point out that you can still qualify for your mental health condition, even if you've never been in combat. It's an important thing to point out.
That's right. I see Chris Pope tuning in on Facebook. He put, I'm stuck at 80% and need help to get to 100%. Hey, if you are stuck, frustrated, just don't give up. Definitely sign up with VA Claims Insider. Maybe explore a discovery call first. Connect with us so that we can talk you through and see what you qualify for.
Absolutely. So Michelle Reed had a question. Do you have to be rated for what you're trying to receive SMC for? So if it's something, for example, ED, female sexual arousal disorder, yes, you do have to be rated for those conditions before you will receive SMCK for that condition. All right. Some of the other conditions, loss of limbs, yes, you do have to be rated for that condition before you receive SMC.
Let's see, what else? See a question, Ken Wyatt. Can you secondary PTSD off of a primary hypertension? So I'm going to change that PTSD diagnosis to, let's just call it mental health, right? Because PTSD is either post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a specific diagnosis, and someone can be diagnosed with any mental health condition, secondary to their primary hypertension condition, depending on what type of limitations and what kind of mental health symptoms you're experiencing due to the hypertension. A good thing to kind of explore in VA Claims Insider resources is something along the lines of lifestyle impact claim. Right. So if you haven't, check out our blog page, vaclaimsinsider.com/blog. Type in hypertension or type in lifestyle impact claim, and you'll see some really great information regarding what you're asking there.
And I'm just going through the messages. Looks like we have quite a lot of good questions here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for asking all these good questions.
Yes, for sure. Here's the blog page. Any of you guys tuning in now, definitely a lot of really good information. A lot of what we just covered at SMCs as well, right? So if we kind of breeze through it way too fast and you're like, hey, something stuck out to me, I think I deserve SMCK, go to the blog page, type in special monthly compensation in the search bar that appears right in front of you, and it'll show you a breakdown basically of what we've just covered, even some really great frequently asked questions that you might not be thinking about right now.
So also, I kind of just want to put this out there as well. If you haven't seen, Brian Reese has a new book out, You Deserve It. It's the second edition, and it's going to be out on April 11th. The free download of the first edition of You Deserve It is available now. Mm-hmm. So just wanted to put that out there for anybody who's interested in getting that information.
Yeah. Did you see he posted in the VACI Mastermind group a chance to get a free signed copy of the new book?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sign me up. Let's go.
Yeah, he posted the steps. I think there's like 4 steps. So I'm definitely going to follow those steps so I can qualify for a free signed copy of the new book. I have his first book on my shelf. It's gotten a lot of good use. And so that second book, I'd like to see what added information he put in there. Right. So I guess I know a lot of the information we gave came with a lot of disclaimers regarding varying situations and circumstances that would determine qualification. So sorry for the roundabout answers that Coach Al and I were giving. They are really difficult to address your specific situation without knowing anything about your circumstances. So if you would like additional information or specific guidance, right, definitely book a free discovery call. It's free. It's free. You'll be able to talk to one of our team members by going to vaclaims.help. Or if you're ready to sign up, I'd be happy to coach you. I know Coach Al would be too. VA Claims would love to welcome you to the family. So if you need the assistance, you need the motivation, you need someone to lock arms with you and work this process, reach out to our organization at vaclaimsinsider.com. We'd love to partner with you on your VA Claims journey. And if you ask questions in the chat, again, that we didn't get to, someone from the team will answer your questions as soon as possible. So just log back in to the video. If you are on our YouTube page, you'll be able to pull back up this. They'll post the live there for anyone that tuned in late in our live. They can kind of go back and watch the beginning to see if they can catch up to the information that we shared in the beginning.
Absolutely. And, if you guys are stuck and frustrated, I was stuck and frustrated getting out of the Army, and I didn't know where to go, right? I knew I had some disabilities. I knew I had some issues, and I didn't really know how to get help for those issues. I had about a 30-minute PowerPoint that went over VA disability. And that was an 8-hour day where that was, right at the end where nobody was paying attention. So, I know a lot of veterans can relate to that. So, I found VA Claims Insider and it absolutely changed my life. I'm 100% P&T now. And without a doubt, I would not be here today without VA Claims Insider. This company and my coach really helped me to move through the process smoothly and without much resistance from the VA. What we try to do is we try to find your path of least resistance, right? And we can't give specific answers to your questions about your disabilities at this time, just because we don't have all of your information, right? If I have your information, then I can actually come up with a game plan and a strategy to help you moving forward in the VA disability process. And Coach Seabury as well.
Yes, for sure. I think a part of the strategy portion when a new veteran gets signed up, right, you kind of have an idea of what you've been fighting for so long, what you've been denied for, and just absolutely know you should be service connected for. When you get with a coach, sometimes that changes, right? Like you come in set, but then not realizing that just based off of what you share, what information and symptoms you're dealing with, that you share with your coach, that you guys may determine another path of least resistance, right? A strategy that could get you to your end result that warrants a higher rating than the one that you had in mind. So all of those factors is what kind of VACI specializes in, right? Determining the best strategy so that you can get what you deserve quicker.
So I see Bruce has a question here. Bruce Lasarnaire. Sorry if I butchered your name. I apologize. I was rated for IBS in 1990. It was 10% and then reduced to 0. As the CNP examiner said, I was better. My current provider says it does not get better. You learn to deal with it. How can I contest this? So, Bruce, what I would say there is that you need medical evidence showing the severity of your condition, right? And you need to be able to explain that condition in terms of frequency, severity, and duration. That's extremely important to do when you're going about getting the rating that you deserve. If you don't already have a coach here with VA Claims Insider, sign up for our elite program. Get with a coach, and we will coach you and help you move through the process as smoothly as possible with getting the least resistance from the VA. All right, but get with a coach.
Absolutely. What else do we have going on in the chat? Took me 30 years to get to 50%, said Bob. All right, don't give up. See what else you qualify for. See what conditions you're dealing with that can be service connected. Get with a coach. Yeah. All right, great. He's with the elite. He's already an elite member.
Yeah. So Bob S said, took me 30 years to get to 50%. And brother, what I want to say is keep going, right? Stay in the fight. Don't quit. If you give up, the VA wins, right? Just stay in the fight and, get with a coach, get an accountability partner, someone to hold you accountable to keep you moving in the right direction and making actionable steps towards your VA disability claims. I think that's very important, is having an accountability partner.
Yes, for sure. I see David Clevenger. I had no idea ED is a disability. Thanks for being open and sharing that. This is a difficulty for me due to my meds for a primary service connection. So I think I need to get with my coach for a secondary claim to be filed due to this serious issue and the results of divorce and lack of ability to find a mate because of it. Thanks for being uncomfortably vulnerable with us. And that's exactly what it would take to get you that secondary condition, right? What what's the impact of that primary condition? How is it impacting you? So definitely get with your coach.
Yeah. And I know that's not an easy condition to deal with. So thank you for, like Coach Seabury said, being uncomfortably vulnerable, right? A lot of times veterans are afraid to talk about their disabilities or don't want to complain about their conditions that they're actually dealing with, right? And that prevents them from getting the VA disability compensation and VA disability rating and benefits that they deserve, and benefits that can also help their family out. So if you don't know where to go next, get with a coach so that we can guide you through this process and get some actionable steps.
For sure. Even hurts after surgery, and I had to take pain meds. Yeah, just the chat. Just what I notice is for so long, a lot of our veterans downplay your symptoms. Right? You kind of just what Michael Braden was saying. Pain scale is subjective, right? So when you say things like, "Oh, it hurts a lot," that doesn't really get the person on the receiving end to fully understand the impact and the severity of your condition. So we really do got to get better at not downplaying our symptoms, stop suffering in silence, and really be able to paint the picture. I always tell my vets, put me in your shoes. Explain it to me enough and walk me through what a day is like, what type of limitations you face, how debilitating, how impactful is it? And I just love how in reading through kind of the chat, not really questions per se, but people just being uncomfortably vulnerable and sharing what they're dealing with. And everyone is just, kind of there in unison saying they understand, right? Everyone just understands and is with you because they too are suffering. So I think that sense of community that we have opens up a lot of our clients' abilities to be able to be uncomfortably vulnerable with us. So I love that part.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like Petrinia Charlie had a question. Hello, do you have coaches in all states and local to meet with in person to help you with your claims? So we are a completely virtual company. So we do work with clients in all states and even overseas. So if you need help, get into a free discovery call. Talk to one of our BDRs, and we can help you get the right information for your VA disability claims.
That's right.
So I also see Robert L. Harris. As an 11 Bravo, we are taught to be strong. I completely understand that, brother. I understand where you're coming from. I served in the 75th Ranger Regiment, Special Operations, and we were taught to suffer in silence. That was literally what we were taught throughout selection, throughout Ranger School. If you're suffering with something, just suffer in silence and don't talk about it. Just deal with it, right? But now you'll see on the other side of the military that no longer serves you. And it actually prevents you from being able to get the benefits that you rightfully deserve. So you have to be uncomfortably vulnerable. And, I know that we were taught to be 10 foot tall and bulletproof, but, that no longer applies outside of the military. You have to speak about the conditions that you're dealing with and talk to a doctor. Get your butt to the doctor, like Brian Reese always says.
Absolutely. His last question, Jose Romero just posted. So, how can I apply for SMC again? So, once typically, right, there's no cutthroat answer for that, is typically the VA would assign you SMC for your given condition if it's noted the severity of your condition. However, if you are not automatically awarded your SMC, you can file on va.gov for special monthly compensation. Awesome. Okay.
So what other good questions do we have? Let's see.
I'm looking.
We have about 9 minutes left. So if you guys have any pertinent questions that you want to ask or that you need help with, please put them in the chat.
So I see a lot of questions in here about people that are P&T, right? I'd be remiss if I didn't share kind of the risks of what you're doing when you file a claim once you're at P&T status, right? So if you are interested in opening up a claim, once you're already at 100% P&T, some of the concerns that were coming up in the chat were, can they reduce your claim? Yes, anytime that you're opening up a claim for evaluation, they're evaluating your condition. And there could potentially be some of your conditions that the VA determines to have gotten better, right? I think we saw that proposal question earlier where they were being proposed for reduction because of the condition. So as long as, right, your records are up to date, that your severity of your conditions are up to date, when they're asking you, when you walk into the doctor's office, how are you doing today? If you're not doing well, don't say, I'm great or I'm well, right? Because all of those are actually taken into evaluation. So if you're 100% P&T, we typically say don't rock the boat, right? But if you definitely warrant the rating, the higher rating for SMC, then of course the risk is there because you're being evaluated.
So I also see Sabrina put in the chat, I'm afraid to open a claim for PTSD. And Sabrina, I understand where you're coming from. A lot of, there's a myth out there that, if you have a mental health condition, the VA will take away your guns. That is incorrect. That is false. All right. The only way that becomes an issue is if you're actively suicidal or homicidal. But at that point, you probably should not have guns anyway. Right. But there's a lot of criticism and taboo around having a rating for mental health, right? In special operations, it was taboo to talk about mental health, right? Even if you were dealing with it. As a team leader, you were not supposed to show weakness and you were not supposed to talk about mental health. But I want you to know that it's okay to not be okay. All right, we're here with you. You see this community that you have, and we're all veterans that are suffering in some way, from some issues, and you need to be able to talk about it. The truth will set you free.
I like that. Instead of you just living with it on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, so I tried that for a long time, and it was like trying to keep a beach ball underwater. And, at some point that beach ball is going to surface, right? And it can be at a time that is not the best time. So just know that and get help if you're dealing with some of these issues. Seek treatment.
For sure. Got some good looks going on in the chat. I love it. I love to see the community just kind of come together. Don't give up. Sabrina, don't give up. It's never too late. I know we've got 5 minutes left. I guess hopefully you all learned a lot with us today. The time went by fast. Hopefully, we addressed a lot of these pending questions. I know a lot of it was really roundabout. So definitely dive into your resources as an elite member or even signing up for a discovery call just to get specific understandings of what you're dealing with and what you qualify for. Right. Yeah. I had a great time hosting with you today, Coach Al. So much great information. I know not even possible to get and cover SMCs in an hour. So I hope we were able to kind of share with you some really great information that you're able to take advantage of.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach Seabury. Also, I just want to put out to all of our veterans, Like Coach Seabury mentioned earlier, get on our VA Claims Insider blogs and look up SMC. If you have some additional questions, we have blog posts on pretty much every condition that you're probably dealing with, right? We write blog posts weekly, and go in there and search for whatever it is that you're trying to get service connected. Education and knowledge is power in this process. So make sure that you're educating yourself on the process and how the VA claims disability process works.
For sure. I know with those blogs, right? When you check out the rating criteria of a specific condition that you're going for. So for SMC, there are criterias in order to meet the qualifications for it. And then for any of our other veterans here that are going for specific claims for conditions like PTSD, knowing the criteria for the different levels of rating for PTSD, it lists out your symptoms for you, because a lot of the biggest hurdle when filing a VA claims is, how do I explain to someone what I deal with every day? Like, I just do it, right? I don't really talk about it. I don't really have to articulate it well enough for someone else to understand, but that's a big part, right? So understanding your symptoms, learning how to explain it for someone else to be able to understand and properly rate you is half the battle, right? Because first half of the battle is getting service connected. The second half of the battle is getting properly rated, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I see Chucky Runfola. It's one of Coach Seabury's vets. I'm a VA Claims Elite member. My wonderful Coach Seabury is absolutely fantastic. Guys, if you need help, they are really here for vets. Try again. So that's a big shout out to you, Coach Seabury. Awesome.
Happy to see you here, Chucky. Definitely an awesome guy. Happy to help.
All right. So we are coming down to about 2 minutes. I just want to say thank everybody for showing up today. Thank you guys for asking those questions and putting some things in the comments. It's always good to have fellowship and be in a group with other veterans, and just to kind of learn from each other and work together to achieve our common goals, right? And this is VA disability and SMC, like we went over today.
Yes, for sure. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining us, spending your Wednesday afternoon. We'll be here again next Wednesday with the next topic. And that's the thing. If you're joining us on Facebook, or if you're joining us on YouTube, just like and subscribe so that you don't miss out. If it's something that could really help you with your process, tune in, ask your questions. Don't be scared. Even if you didn't ask any questions, if you tune in, someone might ask the question that you didn't even know to ask. So definitely.
Awesome. All right. Absolutely. So always a pleasure, Coach. Always a pleasure hosting with you, Coach Seabury. Thank everyone for joining us today. This is Coach Al and Coach Seabury signing off. So everyone have a fantastic Wednesday.
Awesome. Take care, guys.